Yeah, thanks for PAX. It was a wonderful weekend. I had an absolute wonderful time. Best time for me that I've had in quite a long time. I mean, just being able to come and play games and, the atmosphere and all that sort of stuff was really, really good. And, the app worked really well. Couple of minor technical issues, but like they were a phone going bad, like dead and things like that. But the app itself worked pretty seamlessly. It opened up my mind to the possibilities. And I mean, I guess you wanted my input as a DM. I know how I'd organise it personally if I was running a dungeon, which is a lot more organised than being able to just put the card down on the table and do that. And how, like, the perfect setup, if you know what I mean, how I'd organise it. Because I thought about how we view the cards, like just all around in a circle and like looking in on the one or the two cards, and the whole idea is to get that AR feel. I just thought, like, exactly how I'd plan it out and how I would do it. So, like, I would have quite literally, you're sitting at a round table, and you have, when you go to a Chinese restaurant, Chinese buffet, you've got those round tables that spin. I'd have them all already set up on that table, like every single card, so that you'd look at the card, like they enter the dungeon. You'd have every card leading on to every card, like to the next card. So you enter the dungeon. You have the option to go right, or the option to go forward, or the option to go left. And as they're looking down there, like, and this works especially well, like, who goes first in the dungeon? A rogue. So only the rogue gets to see inside and the first things. They're the ones looking at it because they're on their phone going, "Oh wow, this is so cool!" And they're all looking around, and like everyone at the table's going, "What's going on?" And then everyone gets to go down. So you flick it to everyone, and then okay, so they turn right. So that card is already on the ground, but let's say like the other the other people that have come down the dungeon, you can turn the table and they can look at that perspective themselves. So they're looking down the dungeon and looking that way, and then especially if you've got the cards connected to each other, hallway leads onto hallway, which leads onto room, which leads onto room. And if you can have those cards mapped out, it's better than a dungeon or drawing the dungeon. And as I said, like when I plan encounters, I usually plan encounters for like, unless it's a large fight or something like that, I usually plan on 30-minute encounters for each section, because with a little bit of role play and a bit of dice rolling and things like that, that's how long each encounter usually takes, if you can keep the momentum going, which worked really, really well at PAX. Like the people playing there, a lot had experience, a lot didn't. So to be able to give them that visual effect as well was just amazing. I mean, it really was. Growing up as we did, like through that era where D&D was the devil and all that sort of thing, and nerds, like not only nerds played these sort of games. The real amazing thing to me is just how new people embrace it. And seeing the app and seeing that visual thing, it's inspired things in their own mind that they never even thought of before. I had a group of grizzled veterans. Like literally, they were all in their 50s. And it was a group of 7. Yeah, so that was the biggest group I did. And they were all mates. Like they all signed up together, and they were really into the role play. And then to be able to, like, they just couldn't stop looking. They literally couldn't. Like it's like, and that's what, like, yeah, it was. That's when I like it occurred to me just how much you could enhance someone's enjoyment of the game, especially adding a visual to what's essentially just a pencil and paper role-playing game, aside from miniatures and that sort of thing, which you can add in easily, you know, it's just mind-blowing. It really is. It's it gives so much power to the DM to be able to say what literally, like, instead of, like, when you say what do you do now, they're looking and they're thinking, what am I going? Whoa, wow, what am I going to do? Instead of thinking that, well, hang on, I'm having trouble, like, you know, imagining where I am. They know exactly, you know. It's like a computer game in front of, like, you know, as you're, you know, sitting down and playing with friends. It's like, it's an amazing multiplayer event. You know, it just, yeah, that's my perspective. I thought it was great. Like, I can't wait for the app. Like, it was brilliant. The actual methodology, or just learning to use it as a DM, it's far easier to use than learning how to play Pathfinder or D&D. Use it and learn to let people use their imaginations with a visual cue, as opposed to just using your voice, and being able to give them the experience of making them actually feel like they're in the dungeon, as opposed to just imagine this, which, you know, has worked for so long. But you've got to give it a go, and you've got to understand how much more fun this can make the game. So, I mean, you just have to try it, and you have to use it, and you have to, you know, fall in love with it, like I have.